Well, hey guys, and welcome back to Advent with Trent. My name's Trent, and I get to serve on staff at Ada Bible Church as a men's ministry pastor and work with small groups as well. And we've decided to try something new this Christmas season, as things are very different in 2020, this year filled with all kinds of changes. We're going to try a series on our YouTube channel, brand new YouTube channel, called Advent with Trent, where we're going to celebrate and get ready for the coming Advent season. Now, our hope in these videos is to encourage you to get excited about this Christmas season, to build anticipation and excitement. We talk often about reflecting on Christ and his coming and his birth, and then getting excited and anticipating Christ's second coming when he returns home for his people. Think of this like you and me sitting together during a small group and being able to hang out together, talk, ask questions, read the text, and be able to dig in and ask questions not only of the Word, but also of each other's lives. What you'll need is a journal and a pen to take some notes as you go along. Your copy of God's Word, the Bible, you'll need that as well. And then if you want, we're going to be going through a book series right now, put out by He Reads Truth, called Advent 2020, Jesus Christ is Born. And there's both the hard copy version, which I have here, as well as an app on your phone. You can get it there. It's the same content, just a different layout based on whatever format you choose to follow along with. One of the parts I love about the He Reads Truth resource is that it includes all the text for that daily reading of devotion in God's Word. It includes it all there. And so, again, the theme for this Advent study is Jesus Christ is born, and every week we'll go through one part of the study where we'll talk about Jesus Christ is born too, and we'll discuss what that means for us. In this second week of Advent, it's all about peace. The peace that Jesus Christ offers us in his coming the first time, and the one we can look forward to in the second. Jesus Christ coming provides a peace that I think all of our hearts really long for. It's a peace that is deep within the core of ourselves that sometimes we don't even know how to describe. It's one of the kind of things that our hearts wrestle with and long for, and sometimes we don't articulate it that way. We might not think of it that way, but it's true. I mean, for me, sometimes it comes out in just being super stressed out about finances or career or, different things with the kids or with my wife. It's this restless unsettledness where things aren't quite right. They're not fitting together. The Bible in the Old Testament talks about peace. This peace Jesus has, it's called shalom. It's like wholeness, settledness, oneness, rest. That's the peace that we look forward to celebrating this week of Advent. And so this peace is also, I think, part of the peace that the world just craves and seeks after in every way. I mean, I don't think I need to go through too many details to describe for you and paint in your mind a picture of this kind of peace the world seeks. Whether it's going and trying to fill ourselves with, all these expensive new items, going to Christmas shopping, whether it's just the tension in the world and politics and everything rising and people just shutting down and getting anxious or stressed. I think this peace that Jesus offers us transcends all of that. Every major belief system in the world has a different approach to this. There's whether it's God or gods or higher being or higher state of mind. Every belief system seeks to kind of formulate some form of peace, of what would you call it? Equilibrium, of wholeness, of ascension. So what that ends up looking like is that can look like, hey, if you follow these rules, you'll be able to attain the next level. If you follow all these guidelines and laws, you'll be able to achieve a better life, and all these things. And really what they're aiming at is that feeling of wholeness, of oneness, of peace that our souls really need and long for. And the problem becomes that all these other belief systems, it's like the higher being, the God is kind of up here, out there, and we're down here, and maybe even in different levels of down here. and we have to work our way to get up there. The beauty of the peace that Jesus offers us during this season is that God, that higher being, came down to us to rescue us and save us, that we don't have to work to get there. The world is chasing after peace, and it seems to be getting more and more lost as it goes. So today we're going to talk about Jesus Christ is born to seek and save the lost. And so grab your copy of the study guide. Let's dive right in to passage number 1. Passage 1 is Isaiah 49, 8 through 13. Isaiah 49, 8 through 13. And I'm going to give you a second if you need to read through that yourself. I'm not going to read through it right here, right now, but I'd encourage you to do so. So if you want to take a minute, hit pause, read through it, and then come back and be able to talk about this together. Now, Isaiah 49, 8 through 13, to me, this is just like a perfect summary of Jesus' mission and purpose for coming, like why he came, and what that peace that he brings achieves, what that does for his people. I mean, it talks about God seeing his people, finding his people, that they will be set free, that they will be anointed, that they will be given a mission, it will be protected and cared for and provided for, that they will be brought into this mission to go tell other people about that peace that Jesus offers. It answers, I think, some of life's biggest questions that people ask. You know, questions like, is there a God and does he care? If he is there and he cares, is he a good God? Is he a God that really will meet my heart's deepest desires and longings? Will he save me from this mess I'm in? Not only that, but if and when he saves me, what then? What do I do with that? Isaiah 49, I think, speaks directly at this by saying there is a God. He does see you. He does care. He wants that relationship with you. And not only that, he came to answer that. Now, in our current series at Ada Bible Church called The Company of Christ, we're going through the Gospel of Mark. And Pastor Jeff Mannion has laid out 2 questions that he believes that the Gospel of Mark seeks to answer. The question, who is Jesus? And what does he want? Who is Jesus in character, in relationship with us? Who do we believe and say that he is? And then what does he want? I mean, what is his mission and purpose of coming here? What does he want from us, the people that he's called to follow? What does he want for us? Who are you, Jesus, and what do you want? I think Isaiah 49, hundreds and hundreds of years before Mark even begins to answer the question as he jots down Jesus' life, Isaiah 49 answers all that. It's a huge encouragement to me for God's divine inspiration on his people to be able to project the future and be able to fulfill it and come through later. Answering life's business questions. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I wrestle with these things in my mind, I get this picture in my head of like being lost at sea. You know, imagine being out in Lake Michigan, let's say, and you're just miles and miles offshore. You can't even see the shore. You can't even see the shoreline, and you don't know where you are. We don't know where we are. We don't even know where we need to go, and sometimes that sea gets rough and nasty, and sometimes it's just calm, but at the end of the day, we're lost. And I think that's what I feel like sometimes when I'm trying to ask these big questions and wrestle with these things in life, is I just kind of feel like, man, I need some answers. Campus pastor Kevin Baker at our church, he often says, the worst thing in the world isn't being lost. The worst thing in the world is being lost and knowing that nobody is looking for you. And with this whole illustration in our minds of being lost at sea, not only does Isaiah 49 answer the question of, is there a God? Does he see that I'm lost? He answers it by giving us peace and knowing that he sees us. He is looking for us, and we can find him if we seek him. And not only that, not only will we find him when we seek him, and in that get everything our hearts really need, he has a plan for us once we do find him. And so I'd encourage you guys, with a question I want you guys to wrestle with. Where are you? Are you lost? Do you feel like you're in a rough sea right now and you don't even know where shore is? Or maybe you don't feel lost. Maybe you kind of know exactly where you are, but it's foggy and you don't know where that next step is to go, that next direction to go. Maybe you feel lost because you got yourself lost. My hope, my encouragement for you is, as you wrestle with that question, be very honest with yourself. Where am I? Just know Isaiah 49 speaking to you, that not only is God there, not only is he looking for you, but that he has a plan for you and he wants you to be found. Passage number 2 comes from the Gospel of the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew, one of Jesus' original 12 disciples. This is an interesting account because it's autobiographical in nature. Matthew wrote the Gospel of Matthew, but this is his story. Matthew 9, verses 9 through 13. If you go in and read it, it's pretty short. This is Matthew talking about how Jesus invited him to follow along, to become his student, to become his squire, to follow after him as his, Jesus serving as rabbi and Matthew serving as a student. Now, there's a lot of background and detail that makes this story incredibly rich and incredibly deep that I just don't have time to get into right now. But I'd encourage you, if you can find a good commentary on the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, maybe in your study Bible, if you have a NIV, ESV, CSB study Bible, to check that out, MacArthur Study Bible, whatever you have, to be able to look in there, because there's so much depth to Matthew's story that I don't want you to miss. But in the interest of time, we'll basically say this. Matthew was rejected. He was an outsider. He was despised by the Romans, but useful in being a tax collector. He was rejected, and he frankly was hated by many of his own people, the Jews, because he was collecting taxes from them to pay to the Roman government. And there's a lot more that goes with that. But Jesus has a moment with him, and Matthew has a moment with Jesus where Jesus looks at him, someone frankly a little shady, a little bit on the outside, that Jesus goes, "Hey, Matthew, come and follow me." And Matthew, it says he got up from his booth, then he went and he followed Jesus, which is incredible story. Matthew then, after that moment, he's invited by Jesus to host a party at his house. Not just a party, but a party with a lot of people who, frankly, the people who were religious of the day, they would have thought they were kind of shady people. The Romans would have thought they were kind of dogs, trash, worthless, a nuisance. These were people called sinners and tax collectors. And in this party, the Pharisees, the religious leaders of the day, show up at this party kind of unannounced, and Jesus has a conversation with them. And Matthew quotes Jesus as telling the Pharisees go, like, "Why are you hanging out with these people? You're a rabbi. You shouldn't be doing that." And Jesus says, "Hey, it's not the well who need a doctor. It's the sick." He tells them, "Hey, go and learn what this means." And then he quotes Old Testament book that the Pharisees would have been very familiar with, book of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 6. And he says this, "I desire mercy, not sacrifice." What Jesus is pointing at here is this Pharisees approach to God that you can perform and achieve in order to gain relationship and be found by God, to earn good graces with God. And the irony is that actually drives us further away from God when we approach him with all of our good things, our resume of good deeds and good things. When we say, "God, look at all these amazing things I've done for you," Jesus says, "Man, I desire mercy, not sacrifice." He desires earnest seeking over honorable, commendable acts of service. He desires the mercy over that. Not that the service isn't important, not that those things don't matter, but it's the direction of those that matters. And I don't know about you, but for me, when I can sometimes think and act like the Pharisees. Sometimes for me, it's easier to follow a list of rules and regulations to either match them or try to exceed them to earn good graces with God. I got to be honest and a little vulnerable here. There was a part of my life, a season of my life, where I did that in order to look around me and say, well, at least I'm not as bad as that guy or that guy. Guys, God has saved me from a lot, and that's one of the sins that He has definitely helped free me from. But I got to be honest, there's parts of my heart that still do that. God, I'm sorry for the parts of my heart that judge others on the basis of my own actions, which is far, far from your standard. Men, that leads me to question number 2. How are you checking the boxes for Jesus in your life right now? What does it look like for you to approach God's throne on the basis of your own works? Jesus makes it clear that we are not found by Him through our own striving, but rather through His sacrifice. He desires mercy, not sacrifice from us. And that kind of leads us to question number 3 of our 4 today. Question number 3 is, what's the posture of your heart? I mean, is there some sin in there that you need to confess to God and to others? Is there something about your heart that you are trying to work to build up some sort of credibility with God? Are you trying to prove your worth to God? Or maybe you're trying to prove your worth and desirability to other people so that you don't feel so lost, so you feel some semblance of peace. What's clear here is that God came to rescue us. He came to save us. Because He first loved us, we can then love other people. God desires earnest seeking before commendable service. Our service flows out of God's loyalty and love for you and for me. It flows from that. We don't do the service and we don't act in obedience in order to earn that loyalty from Jesus, that loyalty from God. God came down to earth to save us, not the other way. The He reads truth question, the 4th question that we're going to talk about. There's a section every day. As you do your reading, you'll go through your reading. There's a section. It's got gray background, red letters. It starts with a prompt for prayer. And it says, Jesus, you came to seek and save the lost. And then you just kind of go in from there. And then the question that we're going to ask and describe here is this. Jesus regularly sought out those society rejected. How has Jesus sought you? How can you demonstrate this radical love that Jesus has shown you? We love because Christ first loved us. We cannot earn our way into this peace-filled, whole, settled, restful life that Jesus offers us. Apart from that, apart from Him, we can't do anything. So guys, an encouragement for you this week is to go ahead and wrestle with this. Think about it long and hard. Go back to it over and over again in your mind. Try to re-answer some of the questions later on in the week. Maybe set it down and come back to it the next day. Another good way to be able to process some of this is with other people. So sit down with the Bible, with these passages, and ask questions of other guys in your life. Men who love the Lord and earnestly seek Him, who hunger and crave for righteousness, who hunger and crave for God Himself. As we seek the peace that Jesus offers us this week, as we celebrate that peace He gives us, may we be reminded that He has designed us to be able to do this with each other. I know this is a tough season for a lot of us, and I know a lot of you feel alone right now, but I need you to know you are not. You are not alone because God is with you. You are not alone because there are people in your church, the church globally, and your church, Ada Bible Church, who are praying for you. Maybe we don't know you by name. Feel free to drop us a line. Go to our men's Facebook page, our Instagram account. That's at Ada Bible Men. Or if you want to reach out to us directly in email, you can do that with men@adabible.org. We'd be happy to be able to connect with you. We'd be able to happy to connect you with other guys to be able to wrestle with God's word together, to be able to grow in love and affection for the Lord, to be able to earnestly seek him together so that we can experience the peace that he's given his people. Well, men, I love you. I care about you. I'm so thankful for you today. And I pray that you remember and know that wherever you are in life right now, that the purposes of the Lord will stand. Merry Christmas, everybody.